Good morning. How's everybody doing? So, here in a different space, because I did something to screw up my computer yesterday. Can everybody hear me all right? Is everything happening okay? Let me bring the chat up here. Hello, Amazon link. Nexium. What what is this? Do we have a bot on the stream or something? Stephanie, I'm sorry to hear you can't sleep. I had the same problem last night, although mine was related to back pain, which was stupid. I'm over back pain, but right now, this is maybe a benefit. I am on the new iMac webcam, and it seems like it's working just fine. It looks pretty good from what I can see. What do you guys think? I was gonna look up like what are we gonna talk about today, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, you know how it is. What happened to my computer? I was trying a different camera setup yesterday, and it just like it just went poop. And because I had back pain, I fell asleep again. I fell asleep again and didn't wake up in time to like have enough time to properly fix it. I guess I look like a professor in this setup. Oh, okay. I guess that's good. You can hear my dogs with this setup as well. Yeah, I'll get it fixed. It's my problem. Better budget Wi-Fi streamer, Amazon Link, Nexium Tunebox, or Andover Songbird. I don't really know. I don't really know a lot about those things. I mean, Amazon has, probably of those. Well, you know what? We can always just look that up. We can look it up. You're gonna have to listen to me type. I'm sorry. Let's see. Nexium Song Tunebox. Okay, so let's do some screen sharing. Okay. So looking at this Tunebox 3, unable to share the screen. Looks like today's my day for I knew I shouldn't have said anything about not having technical difficulties. But so the Tunebox, let's see, it says 192K coaxial optical. Look at the back is what tells the tail, and then I can tell you what the back tells me. So it has coax, it has optical, it has Ethernet. This Nexium thing looks pretty good, or Nexum, I'm sorry. And then the Amazon link. Yes, the Echo link. I was looking at this. This actually looks like it's pretty cool. I like the. I think if all things remain the same. Sorry. Uh, welcome to Painfully Honest Tech. It's at its most unprofessional. The Illuminati tile. Oh, my FedEx package just came. That's why the dogs are barking. Okay. Um, so I would go with the Amazon. I would go with the Amazon link over the other stuff, just because. I mean, for better or worse, Amazon. This looks like it's really solidly built. It's made out of aluminum. It's got all the same connections, and it's yeah. Amazon is a known quantity, so I would go for the Amazon over the other things just because of that. And I've heard good things about the Echo Link, so I think that that would be a decent way to go with that. Um, yeah, I've been meaning to try this out because I'm just curious how it works, like the Ethernet situation works. Because then this is a Bluetooth. It says it's a hi-fi streamer, so it goes. Everything comes through. Yeah. Okay. I see what it does. So it connects to your existing stereo. Okay. Yeah. It says it will work with my kitchen Echo Show. That's great. so so yeah, I would go with that if I had to choose among them. It has it has a subwoofer out, which is always a good thing. It has line in and line out, plus coaxial in and out, and optical. So anyway, I didn't say good morning to anybody. John Rettinger's here. Good morning to you, John. Coffee Talk and Tech is here. X Plumber is here, of course. Yeah, this is the daylight playtime. Playtime. I can't even speak. Oh my god, this is the daytime PHT studio. This is the reverse angle of the last video that you guys saw from me about the what did I do a video about? Oh my god. This is how I operate on like 3 hours of sleep. Sorry, guys. Of course, John is here. Thank you for your question, John. And Samuel is liking the studio. I like this look as well. I had to turn it away from like the real mess that's back here, because this room is in transition at the moment. So yeah. So Hugo's here. I am on the iMac, and I have to say, just from what I can see on the screen, like I said, this camera is the real deal. My question is, how does the mic stand up? So I'm actually going to switch mics, since like my credibility as an audio technician is already completely blown. Let's see how this. Now I've switched over to the iMac microphone. How's that? Does that sound all right? It's supposed to be professional quality. Is it professional quality? Tell me, because I can still hear myself through this other mic. So, I mean, the iMac. Oh yeah, that's right. I made a video about the iMac. That's why I was here. Yeah, not good. No, okay. This room isn't quite as yeah. This room isn't quite treated as the other room. So yeah, it would definitely pick up more room noise. I don't know how people get these amazing sounding recordings. Like I remember John Morrison did something with the 16-inch MacBook Pro when it got the fancy studio quality microphones, and yeah, it sounded great. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that, man. That's because whenever I try, it's not good. So I got my coffee, at least. There's that much. What do we want to talk about today? What questions do you guys have? Because I'm like grossly unprepared because of my technical difficulties as well. Yeah, compared to the yes, that's true, Hugo. Good point. Compared to the previous like MacBook, iMac, webcams, even I think compared to the 1080p webcam that was in the iMac Pro, this is a huge improvement camera wise. So I'll say that straight off the bat. I mean, almost anybody who wasn't a like YouTube creator snob could use this and be totally totally happy with this by a long shot. The fancy speakers on the iMac, I mean, I got to be honest. I used them to edit the video that I made the other day, and I knew that I wasn't getting like all of the information that I needed, but it was only voiceover, so it wasn't that big a deal. I've listened to music through them. I've listened to music through them, and they are okay. But they're not compared to even like the most like sort of reasonably priced but decent desktop speakers. They're not anywhere near as good as that. I'll tell you that. I mean, maybe like if you're watching YouTube videos or you watch a movie or something like that, and you're just being casual about it, it's not that bad. But if you want to hear what's actually there to be heard, you need different speakers or a headphone. And I got to say, the headphone, I like the headphone jack placement. Everybody complained about it, but I've had many iMacs over the years, and it was always annoying to me to have to like reach around the back and plug the headphones in if I wanted to use them. And this is like so much easier. It's just right on the very bottom edge of the left side. It keeps the cable out of the way, because headphone cables are almost always, unless they're split like this, they almost always come out of the left ear cup. So to me, it's a great design. So yeah, I have to give it up to the iMac here for being a very solid machine. And like I said, I think 100% of anybody, aside from people who might need to spend, buku $1,000 on a Mac Pro, or on a Mac Pro or something like that, could do what they needed to do and get by with this without any kind of problem. And yes, Michael, this is just like, I actually have 2 of the 3 blinds in this room closed, so there's still light coming in from them, but it's not. You guys get to hear the fire department going by. Yeah. So yeah, there's 2 of the 3 blinds, and two blinds in front of me are closed, and there's one open over on this side of the room, and yeah, it's actually, well, quote unquote, low light performance is pretty impressive. So yeah. Kieran's asking, I'm an engineer, and I was thinking about purchasing a Lenovo ThinkPad E4 as a decent all-around machine. Other choices would be the MSI Modern. Please suggest to me a better option. Well, that is a good question. As an engineer, like in your work, do you find that you need like a ton of graphics performance overall? Because if so, I don't know what the ThinkPad E14. Let me look it up. I don't know what it actually has in terms of graphics processing, but I'm going to find out right now. So it's got i5 standard. Looks like it's got the Intel integrated graphics. For that price range, I mean, the ThinkPads of Lenovo's reign, the ThinkPad of Lenovo's reign, they're not bad computers, and I don't know that they live up to the ThinkPad reputation of years gone by. But I do think that they're pretty good computers still. This sounds like a solid computer overall. If I were to look at something else, I mean, the MSI would probably be something decent to look at. Those modern computers are nice. And then Razer also has the Razer Book now, which is a smaller form factor, sort of productivity based machine. Actually, I have one right here that I'm supposed to send back to them today. but I just got done taking all of my stuff off of it. So yeah, this is the Razer Book, and this is the 13-inch model, I believe, and it's solid, compact. You know, I would compare it to the MacBook Pro 13, somewhere in between the MacBook Pro 13 and the MacBook Air. And so yeah, I think that I think that if you're not looking for something that has like like crazy graphics performance, then you would be able to get by. And I would say that any of those, you know, so if Kieran's looking at office work, coding, binge watching, I mean, yeah. Yeah, if you're looking at those Ryzen processors particularly, I haven't used a Ryzen laptop yet, but everybody is very, very positive about them. So yeah, I would go that route. I mean, the Razer Book has, I think this one has I think it has an i7 in it. I'd have to look at the specs, but it's a very nice computer. I still think, for my money, Razer makes the most solid PC laptops of anybody out there. I know that a lot of people still are maybe a little wary of them because they had some quality control stuff in their first few years of putting laptops out, but it's 2 or 3 years beyond that now, and they're very, very solid. The Razer Blade 15 that I have with a RTX 2070 in it is an amazing computer. It's worked. It's just worked flawlessly. So this is what kills me. Jeff says my channel has become an Apple channel when I'm talking about like multiple models of PC laptops. I don't understand how this happens. Oh my, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, this is my most recent acoustic guitar purchase, a Gibson J45. I think it's a 2018, but they still had it. Like, I hate Guitar Center. Okay, let me just say that Guitar Center is like where musical souls go to die. But it's the only option I have for really shopping at a music store, like an instrument store. And every once in a while, you'll go into Guitar Center and you'll find something that's kind of special, right? And I've played many Gibson J45s and Martin HD 28s and all the things that all the high end stuff that you can get, Les Pauls and all those kinds of things. And probably 80 to 90% of all the guitars that show up in a Guitar Center of even this like plus $2,000 category are just terrible. And I was in a Guitar Center, and these days, I guess due to COVID or something like that, they have the really expensive guitars just locked and like way high where nobody could reach them. So they have them on a hook, but then the hook is locked. And I asked I asked the sales guy if I could try it out, and it didn't seem like anybody had touched it since it was put up there. And it was in tune somehow. And sometimes a guitar just like you hit the strings and the guitar like comes to life. And that's what this guitar did. And I was just like, ooh, that's really good. So I bought it, and it is a fantastic guitar. I have a Martin D15 that I've had since 1997. That's been my main acoustic. I've had other acoustics in between, but I always get nervous about spending like $2,000 plus on any guitar, because eventually I start thinking like that's a lot of money to have in a guitar. But the Martin is great, but this thing is something special. Kieran also asks, I've been following you for quite some time. When can we expect another Can You Trust segment or another podcast with Flossie and Viper? The Can You Trust thing, it ran its course there after the first 20 or so episodes. And I've done some since then, but they haven't caught on and gotten as much interest or as many views as they had before. So I'm kind of like it's in like semi-retirement. If something happens that that needs the Can You Trust treatment, then I might pull it back out. But yeah, as much as I like that series, and as much as other people seem to like it, it just hasn't done as much. It just hasn't done as much as it did in the early days. So Ola had a question here. Olia, sorry, I'm hoping I pronounced that right. What do you think of the THX Onyx from Razer? I'm in contact with Razer right now to get one, and I know that my friend El Jefe Reviews has reviewed it, and he has said fantastic things about it, and I've only seen people saying really great things about it overall. So I'm looking forward to getting one in to try out for myself. It looks like a great solution for like being mobile and having great audio. So stay tuned to the channel, because I'm definitely looking to get one of those. Michael says he likes his Razer Blade 15 with the i7 10750H and the 260, upgraded to the RAM to 32 gigs. Yeah. And so this is embarrassing. Okay, so I when I got the Razer, I got 64 gigs of RAM. It came with 16. And then when I got the 2020 iMac to test out, I swapped the 64 gigs into the 2020 iMac just to give it some extra juice. And then I decided not to keep the 2020 iMac and returned it with the 64 gigs still inside. And I returned it to a Best Buy that is in Des Moines, so it's like 2.5 hours away. So my current there's 16 gigs in the Razer Blade that I have right now, but it's still I still plays games at high frame rates. It's a great laptop. It's a great laptop, but I'm still regretting the day. And I put a 2 terabyte NVMe inside of it, and it's pretty slick. It is pretty slick, no doubt about that. I've heard good things about the Omen laptops. One laptop that I did get a chance to try out that I was very impressed with was a mid-level priced Asus ROG laptop, but it had all of the stuff that you would want. It had all of the stuff that you would want in a laptop with none of the stuff that you wouldn't. So the price point was in the right place for what it was, and you got a lot for it. But yeah, I've heard really good things about the Omens as well, but I have not used one. David asks, do I have any MacBooks? I do. I have a MacBook Pro 15 from 2019. The model that came out right before the 16-inch. It's got an i9 in it. It doesn't run super hot. 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. As soon as I find my I'm gonna put it up for sale, because I'm not using it right now, and I know that next week we're probably going to find that there's going to be a lot of new stuff from Apple. So, well, maybe not a lot, maybe not any. Scott asks, is the Rodecaster Pro a good podcast setup? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Rode sent me a Rodecaster, and I used it for a long time, and I liked it a lot. The only downside to the Rodecaster, I would say, and I hope that they remedy this with whatever next version they come out with, is that not many people in this day and age, with pandemic and being sequestered and all that kind of stuff, not many people need 4 microphone inputs. So if they made like a Rodecaster Pro Mini that had 1 mic input or 2 mic inputs, and then all of the other stuff, that would be the perfect thing. And I only say that because, like, the Rodecaster Pro, among the podcast sort of specific or live streaming specific interfaces that are out there, the Rodecaster is still up there in price compared to the others, which is not a terrible thing. I mean, it's not super expensive, and it's a really good quality piece for what you're paying. I mean, it's stainless, or not stainless steel, but aluminum build. And the mic pre's sound good, and they give you a lot of features in terms of EQ and loop back features and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty easy to use. I mean, for the person who doesn't have really any experience with audio engineering or using any of that gear, Rodecaster Pro is as close to plug and play as I've probably ever used. You just plug your microphones in, you plug the USB into your computer, you select it, and everything pretty much works. So yeah. And yeah, Stephanie, I'm looking forward to WWDC, although I'm not quite as bullish on as what we're going to see and how much we're going to see and all that kind of stuff as I think a lot of other people on YouTube and otherwise have been excited. There are a lot of rumored products. There are a lot of rumored features. I think that the biggest thing that Apple has to do is, in order to make the iPad Pro, the current iPad Pro, the 2021 iPad Pro, make sense as a product, they have to find some way to give people the opportunity to use all of the power in terms of processing and memory and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully the new iPad OS fixes that. It'd be great if it also gave people access to, even if it was just like a light version of Final Cut, or like a light version of Logic Audio. Logic and Final Cut are so Logic Audio and Final Cut are like sort of expensive adult bikes, whereas iMovie and GarageBand are sort of like training wheel bikes for children. So even a lighter version of those programs that worked on the iPad would still be a much better version of those programs than what we've seen to this point. Not that you can't do great work on iMovie or GarageBand. I know people who've done really, really cool things with them. And iMovie, for what it is, as long as you know what its limitations are and how to get around it, then iMovie can be great. iMovie actually has some features that I wish Logic had. Like, iMovie has an auto ducking feature. So if you're not familiar with that, like, say you want to have a music track in the background of your video, right? Auto ducking will sort of, as you speak or something like that, it will duck the level of the audio so that it's at the proper level below your speaking, so that you don't have to do that manually, which is what you have to do on almost every video program that I've had, unless you get a plugin or something like that. And I find that sometimes plugins don't work as well. So, and yes, John, I'm in Iowa City, Iowa. So Des Moines is like 2.5 hours away from me. So I'm about to celebrate my, oh my goodness, I'm about to celebrate my 16th or 17th year in Iowa City. Came out here to go to grad school and never left. It's a good town. I mean, we have a 17-year-old daughter. She's graduating high school next year. It's a really good town. And I came out here to go to a really good graduate program, and then ended up getting teaching jobs and that kind of thing. And my wife has a job that she really likes. And so, yeah, we might be here until my daughter gets like in like a year or two into college or something like that, or we might be here for longer. Who knows? I would very much like to not have to deal with Iowa winter. And so, yeah, my good friend Mike Carberry from right across town. I'm not sure that Iowa City loves the JTL though. My civic life was one of um, was one of great. Uh, well, I made a lot of people mad. Let's say it that way. Let's say it that way. Bradley asks, is the Home OS thing going to give us some added HomeKit visibility via Apple TV? If so, I'd like to see a home app on Apple TV. Yeah, that's a good question. The HomeKit home app thing has been really weird because it's like you have to get into the home app. As far as I know, the only way that I know to get into the home app to do things like set up a home pod or something like that, you have to go into that, but it's not really clear where it is. And so, yeah, it's very bizarre. So I hope that it brings sort of more of a central hub to being able to use that. And the Apple TV makes sense as that central hub, the thing that people would use to access it. Of course, you want it on your mobile devices as well, but the Apple TV would make sense to have that kind of stuff there as well, because it's just not as obvious where to go and how to use that stuff as it could be. And I think even though Amazon's Alexa app is not the best app that I've ever used, it works better, and Google's Home app is probably the best of the bunch. Yeah, Mike and I have both fought in the political wars of Iowa City. You wouldn't believe it, but Iowa City's like local election scene is pretty intense. I've run for office 3 times and lost 3 times, but I said things that I felt like needed to be said, and people voted for me. So I guess that's I take pride in the fact that people voted for me. How's that? You're in Mason City? Yeah, my wife used to travel all over Iowa quite a bit, and she was in Mason City quite often. So yeah, that's cool. Fellow Iowan in the chat. Nice to see you, man. Vrew says auto ducking of sidechain compression, which you got to fiddle with in Logic to have a plug and play feature would be awesome. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, how many people who video editing is their first skill when it comes to working with video and audio? Not many people are going to understand how to set up like a sidechain compression thing, and so yeah, it's a little frustrating that it's not a feature. I mean, Apple likes to make so many things easy, and yet they don't give that feature to us in Final Cut. It's just kind of frustrating. Stephanie would have voted for me. Thank you. So yeah, WWDC I think is going to be it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to solve all the problems that everybody wants it to solve, or bring out all the products that everybody wants to see. I'm hopeful that we see at least one product. I think at this point, I would rather see either like a higher end iMac or a higher end MacBook sooner than later, because I think a lot of people are buying these M1 machines because they want a new Mac, and they want to migrate over to this new Mac architecture. But right now, the only options they have are, albeit very powerful and very capable machines, the only options they have are kind of not they're not the professional grade machines that I think a lot of people would feel more comfortable buying. So I would like to see at least one of those things. And I don't know if we will. Personally, I think like a Mac Mini Pro would be great, but the designs that I've seen of the Mac Minis that they're putting out there, like I think John Prosser has one that he put together with somebody, and I've seen a couple of others that are very similar to that. I don't think that I can't see a Mac Mini that looks like that, but I've been wrong before, so who knows? But I certainly don't see a Mac Mini with 4 Thunderbolt ports and 2 USB-A ports, and like they're going to force us to choose between USB-A and Thunderbolt if they're giving us a quote unquote pro device. Good morning to you. I'm good. Thank you, Donald. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're just scrambling our way through Friday morning coffee. I woke up at 5. My back was killing me, and then I did some stretching and I took some pills, but I was still awake until about 7:30, I think. And then I fell back asleep and didn't wake up until 10:30. So I apologize that I wasn't like completely prepared for today's stream, but I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So here we are. Stephanie would have voted for me. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it. And yes, the renders look thin and they look rounded, and like the body design with the 2 materials is it doesn't look like or feel like anything else out there that Apple has on the market. It doesn't look like the Mac Pros. It doesn't look like the current lineup of other machines. And so I don't see them taking on an entirely new design language, like, halfway across the stream when it comes to this Mac, the Apple Silicon Switch. Am I doing spinal hygiene exercises? I'm trying. Like, I found a few stretches and stuff that do definitely stretch this out. And I had a couple of days where it still wasn't perfect, but it wasn't hurting all the time. And then I must have done something to it yesterday. It's definitely like muscle cramps or spasms or something like that. I didn't do anything to damage it significantly, but I got one of those massage guns, which of course I can't use on my back myself, but that's helped some. I've been using these. Look at this. It's freaky. It's freaky. My daughter used to get these when she had braces, so we kept them in the freezer, and they're good because they're kind of like a sticky. They're like a plastic on this side, and so you can put them like underneath your shirt, and they kind of stick. So I've been using that. I've been using heat. I've been trying to exercise as much as I can, but when it gets really bad, it's like just very painful and hard to motivate yourself to do anything. So yeah. What else is going on in the world today? Oh, somebody asked about the Pixel Buds. I wanted to get back to that. Yeah. Jimmy asked, will you be doing a collab on the Pixel Buds A or a review? You could do a collab with Flossie, Canupsi, Marquez, Supersaf, iJustine. I'd love to do a collab with any of those folks. I haven't ordered them yet. I know that I see some people have gotten them, and they are intriguing to me because people are saying that they're good and they're more relatively priced. Relatively well priced. I guess they're $99. And so, yeah, I'd be interested in checking them out. But one thing that I think I'm going to focus on, at least for the moment, unless Apple does surprise us and come out with AirPods Pro 2 or whatever. Sorry, my voice is not working correctly. There. Hopefully that's better. One thing that I hope that I'm trying to do with the channel is go more toward. I want to talk more about lossless audio versus like Apple spatial audio, and what is lossless audio, and should you care about lossless audio, and kind of get back to the channel's roots on headphones and stuff like that a little bit. People seem to be enjoying that content, and there's plenty of just like the boilerplate Apple content out there these days. I liked sort of giving people my overview of the iMac, and I don't mind doing that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I want to start doing some more audio specific type stuff, which is going to be a transition. I mean, it's not that I haven't done audio stuff in the past, but like if you look at the videos that I put out on microphones and those kinds of things last week, they're not my top performers, but I didn't expect them to be. And so those are the kinds of videos that eventually get found in search over time. And then eventually, if you keep making videos like that, then YouTube starts sending some traffic your way when they see that you are doing yet another video about a microphone or about some audio related thing. So I had thought very seriously about starting another specific audio channel, but the fact that the headphones and like lossless audio videos are doing pretty well tells me that it might not be as much of a stretch to go in that direction with the channel as I was afraid it would be. But I'm still going to be doing, the same kind of stuff. I'm also, I asked yesterday, I did a poll yesterday about, whether or not people would like to see more or less or the same amount of live streaming on the channel. I really like live streaming. I really like live streaming when I'm awake and, not sleep deprived. I really like live streaming. And so I'm also still thinking about doing like a daily live streaming show, or at least like 2-3 times a week or something like that. But that's something that I've got to figure out how I could do it and what the parameters of it would be. Because if I go more than like an hour, if I do 2-hour daily live streams 5 days a week or something like that, and then have to spend time making other videos and cutting things up, it gets to be really like the burnout factor is very close. So yeah, I'm hoping to do more live stream related stuff as well. And so the channel's still kind of in that, will I go this way or will I go that way kind of place, or will it be a combination of the two? Alejandra says, it's noticeable that you enjoy your videos on audio. There are many topics to discuss, such as MQA is a scam, or high-res certification, or if burning in headphones is just a placebo. Yeah. The MQA thing, I have to say, in the experience that I've had listening to MQA on Tidal, I haven't noticed a huge improvement in the quality of what I was hearing over MQA. Some people swear by it. Some people don't. I mean, now that we're going to get another lossless audio codec from another streaming service, Apple with their ALAC codec, then we'll see how well MQA holds up. My problem with Tidal has always been that their search and discovery algorithms are terrible. And I find more stuff that I want to hear naturally just through sort of using Apple Music and Spotify than I ever did with Tidal. So I think Tidal is gonna have some problems when they have the competition. Like I see right now that Tidal is giving away 2 months of Tidal. I think the high quality streaming Tidal for $2, which says to me they want to get as many people on the Tidal train before Apple releases spatial audio and lossless audio and that kind of thing. so that they have some kind of cushion for when everybody leaves. I don't think Tidal is going to survive if Apple Music and Spotify both have viable, like high quality. If they don't have if Apple and Spotify both have viable, high quality streaming options for lossless audio, then Tidal is going to struggle to survive. That's the long and short of it. So we'll see. We'll see. But as far as like high-res certification, I mean, high-res certification is it does have those numbers that you want to see in terms of what you want to see if you're looking at a higher resolution file. But I don't think it's going to stand up to the availability, once again, of lossless audio. And we had a long talk on Tuesday about, well, what is lossless audio and why is it quote unquote better? And so anything that kind of skirts around the edges of like the full fat every bit and byte that goes into a piece of audio, I think as long as we have lossless, then stuff like high-res audio is gonna struggle to remain relevant. And as far as burning in headphones, I will say this: it is possible that some headphones loosen up and start to sound more open and natural than they do when you first buy them. But I think most headphones and most speakers are giving you most of what you're going to hear out of the box. And what is different is your ears and what your ears are used to hearing compared to what your ears are hearing from those speakers. So the effect of burn-in for a lot of people, I think, is just that they go from one set of headphones or one set of speakers and they start to listen to their new set of headphones or speakers and they start to hear things differently, and then it starts to sound better. It's just their brain is adjusting to what they're hearing. I think that's 90% of all burn-in. I'm not going to discount the fact that after some use, some headphones might not, loosen up and improve more toward their specs, but I've never seen anybody do a test of like a brand new set of headphones and a 2-year-old set of headphones and kind of test the frequency ranges and how well one is sort of hitting the specs, advertised specs, as the other. So Michael says, yeah, I watch a lot of videos on audio equipment, but I do wonder how people are spending so much money on DACs. I'd rather just buy an LG V30 or something and use the quad DAC. Well, the DACs on the LG V series phones are very good. They are very good. But I think once you start to get into, even once you start paying like $100 to $200 on a dedicated DAC, your possibility for better performance sort of skyrockets. And again, some of that might just be placebo effect, or you spent the money, so you think it sounds awesome or whatever. And what you have to understand about a lot of audiophile grade equipment is that buying and using audiophile grade equipment is as much a hobby as it is a means to an end when it comes to listening to music. People are always trying to find like that perfect combination, or they're curious about hearing this thing or that thing or one thing or the other. And so they just roll through stuff differently, and it's their hobby. I've never met an audiophile that just like goes out and bought, the perfect system that they always wanted and then was satisfied with that, So like the music listening is sort of, I won't say secondary, but it's not the only main focus of audiophile gear. So if you're listening, if you're listening just for the pleasure of listening, then yeah, the LG V series phones are going to be really, really great, and you're going to get a really great experience out of it. Um, but if you're, if you're rolling DACs, and if you're, rolling headphones, and if you're trying all kinds of different things, and that's what you're interested in, you're rolling speakers in and out, then it's not always about the music so much as it is about the sort of different qualities of the equipment. So yeah, I think I'm not going to say that being an audiophile is pointless, because I don't think it is, but I just think that it's misunderstood. Um, I just think that what an audiophile is a misunderstood thing. I mentioned Steve Guttenberg's channel. He was a writer for like stereo, like a lot of the great magazines, that Stereophile, and a lot of the great magazines that don't exist or only exist online. But he's got a YouTube channel, and he talks about audio gear. He worked in some of the highest end audio boutiques in New York City from a very young age. He really, really, really knows his stuff, and he does a lot of videos on like getting the perfect music listening system for $1,200 or $500 or $1,000. He knows everything that there is to know about pretty much all that gear, but he still is a fan of music, and it's not just about the gear for him. What do I think about LG shutting down their phone offices to manufacture other products from the 31st of July? I mean, yeah, we've known for a while that was happening. And I mean, I wish it wasn't the case. It's a sad commentary on the state of the mobile phone market when LG can be the third largest seller of smartphones in North America and not be able to compete. That's basically what happened. They had, I think, 11 or 12% of the North American market, and that's a lot of smartphones, and they couldn't make money. Now, a lot of it is LG's fault, and I wish that they were still around. LG, for all intents and purposes, for better or worse, LG was responsible for being the first company to put a lot of the features that people love and insist on in smartphones these days. LG was the first to do a lot of that stuff. The LG was the first to put 3 cameras on the back of the phone. They had a lot of different innovations that became very popular and sought after in other companies' hardware, unfortunately. Aditya says LG Quad DAC is nice, but it is noticeable that they struggle to properly drive a headphone in 250 to 300 ohms impedance. But less than 150, and you're gonna be golden. I think that's correct. My HD 600s are 300 ohms, I believe, and I didn't dislike listening to my HD 600s with the quad DACs, but I could tell that I wasn't getting everything out of them that I wanted to. But yeah, for headphones that are, most consumer headphones sit somewhere around like the 32 ohms range, right? And anything from 16 to 150, the quad DAC is gonna do great. But once you get into like the more sort of like high end, very very non-sensitive phones out there, it's going to be less, right? You're going to get less out of it. Franklin says, I think the issue is that LG wasn't even in the top 10 outside of the US. Well, and that's part of the case too. But then again, like the competition, the number of phones that are available outside the US in the Android sphere as compared to what's available inside the US, um, made it a lot harder for LG to compete. Um, LG just they didn't market very well. I mean, they had fantastic phones that were really good. Upgrade their they didn't upgrade their operating system to keep up with what other people had done. I wish that LG would have put, basically stock Android with a couple of different LG twists to it, and then gone from there. But they didn't. So, what's my opinion of the Bowers and Wilkins Formation series? Um, I don't know the Formation series all that well. I've had a couple of different pairs of B&Ws. Let me look at the Formation series here. So looks like they got a Formation soundbar that's $2,200. Yeah, those are. I mean, they're okay. Formation Duo. Well, I'm a big fan of Bowers and Wilkins, but a $4,000 pair of wireless speakers. I mean, there are questions that need to be answered. Like, how are they receiving the audio? Like, in what format? If it's AirPlay, maybe that's possible. I'm not seeing like readily information. It says high resolution audio performance. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to do some more research on exactly like how they're delivering the audio to the speakers themselves. They look great. I love the concept of like high-end wireless speakers, but I don't know too much about how these are working. But Bowers and Wilkins, I mean, they've always done great. Their high-end speakers are among the best that you could possibly get, and priced to and priced to show that. So I'd be interested in checking out that soundbar, just in the interest of seeing like what can Bowers and Wilkins do with an $1,100 soundbar. Because I tried a soundbar that they had from a previous, like probably 3 or 4 years ago at this point, and I didn't like it. I think mostly because the way it wanted to work and the way my system was set up didn't jive well together. So, what is the best piece of equipment I own right now? Geez, that's a good question. Wow. I don't know. I mean, in like consumer tech or in just tech in general, I think and does best mean most reliable or highest quality? That's a good question. Who is calling me on the phone? Potential spam. Now, you might be wondering, why does Jason have a smooth jazz ringtone? And I'll tell you why. A, it's not really like it's not grating on the ears, and B, it's so terrible that it makes me want to get to my phone as quickly as possible, so I don't have to hear it. So yeah, there you go. There you go. So Michael says he has the formation wedge and 2 flex. Yeah, I don't doubt they're fantastic. I would love to check it out. Now that wasn't a flute, man. That was like the straight up like soprano saxophone made famous by Kenny G. So yeah, let's put the phone on mute. I that ringtone is like one of the standard Samsung ringtones that they give you. Khalil, we are live, but we're only going to be live for another few minutes because I've got crap to do this afternoon, and I've got to get prepared for some videos. One video I want to put out tomorrow, and then I want to get prepared for the videos coming in next week. I keep trying to get organized, and it doesn't ever seem to happen. I'm not. Maybe that's just who I am. Good to see you, Khalil. It's good to see you drop in. But yeah, I think I am going to drop out, folks. Just sorry for the short stream this week today, but I'm like totally discombobulated. I got to go do some errands, and I haven't eaten any food yet either, which is stupid. But that's how I roll. I do the intermittent fasting, which is to say I eat when I realize that I'm hungry in the morning, which usually isn't until 11 or 12 o'clock. Yeah, oh man, the Caribbean so like anything that's like loud or grating, I just don't want to hear in a ringtone. So the smooth jazz just works for me because it's like, okay, that's my phone. I don't want to hear it. That sound is awful. So I run to find the phone as quickly as possible. But yeah, folks, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Be back tomorrow with the video, 99% sure. And definitely next week, we've got WWDC, which has to be dealt with. And so you guys have a good rest of the weekend, and I will see you again next time. Once again, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is the Painfully Honest Tech Friday Morning Coffee. I should have had more coffee before this started, but